Junk Reanimator deck. His deck is a little interesting. He has, I was giving before, the 1/5 signal, not the 15 signal. The 1/5 being, he has main decked 4 Rocks Faithmender.
Yeah, that card is one that you don't expect to see main deck, especially as a 4 of. But Brad's giving it a test drive and has a turn 1 Temple Garden tapped and passes back, and we're just going to go land go for the first few turns here for both of these guys.
Brad with the first spell of any note, Grizzly Salvage. Shows us Somber Wild Sage, Angel of Serenity, Unburial Rites that he cannot take, another Grizzly Salvage, and a Overgrown Tomb. And Brad selects the land. And then it'll be Brad's turn. Oh, that was a main phase Grizzly Salvage. Lenny Lee drops a 3rd land, says go. Brad draws another land. He's got at least 2 lands in his hand. Many more than that, it looks like to me.
A little
looks like 4 lands at least in his hand. Brad's list is a lot of 4-ofs, and then a couple of 1-ofs. The 1-ofs being Craterhoof Behemoth and Sever the Bloodline. Now Brad casts a Unburial Rites from the graveyard, which finds a Counterflux. Lenny drops a 4th land, passes, says go. Brad draws yet another land. 5th land, cast Thragtusk. Thragtusk apparently resolves. And we see an Azorius Charm, and then a Searing Spear at the end of the turn.
And a Brad Nelson token.
You can see the 3/3 written on that Brad Nelson token. Ooh, Assemble the Legion.
All right, so Lenny's going to try to get into this game in a big way. Assemble the Legion. We've seen it do nothing. We've seen it do everything. Although, even in the game where it pumped out upwards of 20 tokens, that game still ended in defeat for the Flash deck.
It just couldn't erase a Drown Yard, which is a rarity.
Yeah. So muster counter number 1 gets a soldier for Lenny after Brad passes a turn and after attacking with his 3/3 beast. Beastly Brad Nelson token there.
And for 3, we see Lenny block. Lenny just trying to preserve his life total right now.
Yeah,
Sphinx's Revelation for 2.
And he's trying to increase his life total a bit. I think that's a fine play there. Just at this point, preserve your life total, give your Assembled Legion an opportunity to start really powering out dudes. So,
I mean, honestly, when it comes to the way that the Assemble works, comes in for 1. Whatever Brad Nelson's life total, Assemble the Legion will be able to make short work of it.
So you see 1 soldier attacks, he leaves 1 back to block, and that's exactly what happens. Brad attacks, block, and
another Thragtusk.
Thragtusk from Brad. So Lenny here
contemplating his options.
Yeah.
We see a Thought Scour. He Thought Scours in response.
I believe he does have
Essence Filter.
He does have Snapcaster Mage in hand, so even
or
hitting
Essence Scatter goes away.
Yeah, there it is, Snapcaster. He can go Snapcaster, Essence Scatter here, but he does not. Okay.
Lets the Thragtusk resolve. And Assembled Legion goes up to 3.
All right, Lenny with 4 soldiers now, and he looks like he's about to play his land. He's thinking about playing it untapped, and he goes tapped. Steam Vents.
Augur of Bolas.
Augur of Bolas.
Searing Spear found with Augur. 2 angels go to the graveyard, or go to the bottom of the library.
So Searing Spear likely going to hit the Thragtusk.
There's a pass.
Brad with an Angel of Serenity, a Sun Petal Grove. I believe I saw a Centaur Healer. Not in the main deck, so not a Centaur Healer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All good girls go to heaven.
Angel
No
of Serenity.
dissipate. No angels, no heaven.
Angel is dissipated. Brad now going to...
He thinks about what he wants to do here.
Yeah,
As these soldiers accumulate, it's very quickly coming to the point where they're going to start attacking. 4 soldiers added to make it now a total of 8 soldiers. 9 power on the table for Lenny Lee.
Lenny trying to decide how he wants to do this. I mean, I think if I'm Lenny, I just attack with 7 guys.
I think I attack with all of them.
Yeah. I mean, preserve his life total.
I think he's past that point. I think he's at the point where he's the aggressor.
So he
passes entirely.
Completely, yeah, well...
And Brad says, never mind, this is over.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Brad, Assemble the Legion just got out of hand way too quickly for him to be able to deal with it. And he didn't really have, I don't think, the kind of start that he wanted either.
Brad really, really needed something to go right there. He has Sever the Bloodlines as a way to answer the Legion. He's got Acidic Slimes to answer the Legion. And those are both reasonable answers. And I think that he might actually go with those 5 cards as things to think about. Now his opponent
has a Tormod's Crypt, 2 Rest in Peace. That's his Graveyard Hate. So he could potentially bring those in, although, again, I feel like, as we mentioned the last round, the Graveyard Hate only goes so far. Even as good as it is, as good as it kind of seems to neuter a deck that is wanting to throw things in the graveyard and cast something like Burial Rites, this deck can still just cast its spells, as you saw. He cast Thragtusk, he cast Angel of Serenity last game, so Brad has no trouble just getting to the mana. But it's something. He also has a Supreme Verdict, which he could bring in. But really, other than that, I don't like too many of his other options. Potentially Jace Memory Adept. If my opponent is milling themselves, Memory Adept might not have as much work to do to win the game. So I could see that. He's got 2 copies of that coming in. Although on the flip side of it, do you really want to be throwing cards into the graveyard? Assuming you don't have a Rest in Peace in play, do you really want to be throwing cards in the graveyard for a Reanimator deck? So it's a tough decision there. I probably go without it, but I could see the argument. It really kind of, you want it paired with a Rest in Peace, so they're not actually able to make use of any of those cards.
One of the interesting things about Brad Nelson's list, he has 0 Cavern of Souls in his main deck and only 1 Cavern of Souls in his sideboard. He basically is just kind of planning on pushing on through just spell per spell per spell, which is an unusual choice, I think, but this is a counterspell light format, I think.
That, and this is a 3-color deck, and you're going to play a card that can't cast certain spells. You're gonna, it's colorless for all intents and purposes when it's not the creature type that you named. So you could find yourself in a situation where you actually are color screwed. So I don't dislike that as an option. But you're right. We saw Shaheen's list last round. It's an Esper Walker's list. Had what, 2 main deck counterspells?
Yeah, only 2 dissipate.
So not that many counterspells.
Gerard's on the first round had several more.
Yes, he did.
He was actually very counterspell heavy.
I think he had a couple of Psychic Strikes. I don't know how many dissipates. We still have his list here. We could take a look, but Esper Control not showing up in the numbers that I think some people maybe expected it to. So if it continues to look, we've seen 2 Esper lists on camera today, and we're in round 3. If Esper is the presence here that it hasn't been in the past couple of weeks, we may start seeing more Cavern of Souls because we may be seeing more counterspells.
Yeah, Gerard Fabiano's list from round 1 had 2 Psychic Strikes and 2 Syncopates.
Okay, so just 4. That's still not too heavy, but 4 is, well, it's twice as many as 2. How about that?
I prefer to say it's 2 more than 2.
It is also 2 more than 2. So, any mulligans here? These guys just looks like they're both presenting just both good.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Joey Pasco. This is the StarCityGames.com Open Series here live in Washington, D.C. at the, I believe, Washington, D.C. Convention Center.
Yes, the Walter E. Washington Convention Center is the official name, according to the info we have anyway. All right, Lenny making a decision. He says I'm good, and
Land go.
yeah, Brad on the play here yet again, down a game against Lenny Lee and his blue, white, red flashed deck. Both players on a shock land tapped on their first turn, and we have another mulch from Brad Nelson. That is the first play of the game. We see Acidic Slime, Crater Hoof, Behemoth, Angel of Serenity, and Woodland Cemetery. Of course, all three dudes into the yard, and Woodland Cemetery in Brad's hand.
Looks like that's a Stronghold mulch.
Yes. Augur of Bolas for Lenny Lee on turn 2. He whiffs, and that is where Augur feels like, why did I just play at 1-3 and I'm not even playing against an aggro deck?
Arbor Elf on turn 3, always a fast play.
Slightly not. I tend to disagree.
And Grizzly Salvage end of turn? Yes, we do.
And we've got
Land, Acidic Slime, Grizzly Savage, Cavern of Souls.
I keep wanting to call Godless Shrine Isolated Chapel, and I pause on it every time I see it.
Angel of Serenity is the last. Takes the Acidic Slime.
Untaps with 4 mana available. If he has a 5th land, he can play a Thragtusk or a Slime. He's going with the Slime, so you see 5th land there. Slime.
Dissipates.
Dissipate from Lenny Lee. Brad passes. Fourth land for Lenny, and he's going to just go on offense with that Augur.
In for 1.
Things off to a slow start here in game 2. And that is a Tormod's Crypt from Lenny Lee.
Which set is that from?
Adrian tilts his head. What? That's Tormod's Crypt? Yeah, that is the new art, Tormod's Crypt. It originally was a promo with that art, and now it was M13 using that art.
The Restoration Angel resets Augur of Bolas. This time it'll get an Azorius Charm. Assemble the Legion, put on the bottom. That doesn't look like no Tormod's Crypt that I ever seen.
Yeah, I'll get you a better view of it. And I believe Choi may be doing the same.
In for 4.
There you go. So it's either M13 one has this.
That's not what Tormod's Crypt looked like in my day.
Not what it looked like in my day either.
And Brad Nelson untaps.
Vault of the Archangel.
Vault of Archangels. In with his little guys. Take 2. He's got 6 mana, says go.
And
another angel.
So Lenny with all the angels, gonna blink his Augur, gonna find Thought Scour. Lenny with that Restoration Angel Augur of Bolas' draw engine that has been popular for quite a while now, ever since Augur was printed in M13.
Brad Nelson needs to do something here to change the dynamic of this game. His life total rapidly diminishing, down to 8 life.
Every time he has some sort of threat that is at all threatening, Lenny seems to have the answer for it, and maybe Cavern of Souls is something that he would actually like more of, at least in this situation. You saw the Dissipate for the Acidic Slime. Last game, Dissipate on an Angel of Serenity.
Brad says take 2. Follow up with the Thragtusk. Yes, he does.
And we have a Tusk.
It's going to be a Snapcaster for the win.
Yeah, Lenny can Snapcaster Dissipate here, but he does not. Brad going up to 13, buying himself some more time and hoping to get himself back into this game so we can go to game 3 in this match.
Think.
Yeah, think twice, number 1 from Lenny Lee. And if he flashes back here, get another card. Thinking about it. And he does.
Think.
Alright, so Lenny can swing in with his angels, which is what he does. Knocks Brad to 7. And passes back with 5 mana untapped.
Mulch, land, something.
Yeah,
Brad's
not
hiding his hand
really-
for us.
Yeah, but even when I get a glimpse of it, I'm not seeing anything super threatening. He's going to mulch here. Finds acidic slime, Angel of Serenity, Thrag Tusk. Yeah, he was looking for action, and there it all went. That's why he's laughing there. I think he's been kind of flooded, and all his action has gone to the graveyard. Which isn't awful if he had Unburial Rights, but doesn't have Unburial Rights either. I think he's got 3 lands in hand. Trying to figure out here how he wants to attack, if he wants to attack, but he's at 7. His opponent has 7 power on the board, so he needs to at least leave back 1 blocker.
The Cathedral is one of the things that he's going to be banking on here, I think.
The Vault of the Archangels?
Or Vault of the Archangels, pardon me. Hoping that will actually manage to effectively get some life gain for him. But tricks are a reality.
Augur of Bullets gets in front of Thragtusk. Now Brad possibly deciding whether or not he wants to activate the Vault.
So many things can go wrong here for him.
Yeah, he activates Vault. Lenny is likely to Azorius Charm the Thragtusk.
I mean, there's so many things Lenny can do, right? He could, for example, use Restoration Angel to blink the Augur. With no activation of the Vault, Lenny just lets it pass. And we see end of the turn, Thought Scour.
Scours away Steam Vents, Sphinx's Revelation, draws a Rest in Peace, which, well, Lenny doesn't really need it, but I imagine it's the nail in the coffin, so to speak. I guess Rest in Peace, nails in coffins. There's some sort of pun there.
Wah, wah, wah. In for 6, Brad drops to 1.
Lenny really would like to find a burn spell here to just put this game away right now. He does have Izzet Charm, 3 Searing Spear, and 1 Pillar.
Rest in Peace, hits play.
Yeah, there's the Rest in Peace. There goes all Brad's action. Now Unburial Rights isn't even a live card for Brad. Draws Mulch.
And he hits the table a little bit. The Mulch now is just a very lackluster card draw spell sometimes.
Yeah.
He passes it
there
over.
is. Brad falls to Lenny Lee, 2-0. Lenny Lee, the first blue-white-red flash deck that we've seen on camera and winning. So Brad Nelson's Junk Reanimator falls, and yeah, he just could not really find threats in either of those games. It seemed like he was awful flooded and not really
One of the